Good afternoon, a very warm welcome, and it's my pleasure to declare this degree celebration open.
Good afternoon. As Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Head of College, I'm delighted to welcome you all gathered here today as we reunite the class of 2020 in celebration of your achievements during your time at Birmingham and since. This is not a normal degree ceremony, and it's not taking place at the normal time. But then these have not been normal times. The global pandemic has impacted all of our lives in ways that we could never have imagined only 18 months ago. You will all have your own memories of how it felt in the spring and summer of 2020 as our vibrant campus community moved almost completely online. It was not the conclusion to your degrees that you had wanted or that we wanted for you. Yet, in the most challenging of circumstances, you showed that resilience, that ingenuity, and that tenacity that represents the very best of a Birmingham student and a Birmingham graduate. You adapted, you persevered, and you graduated with our esteem and admiration. Whether you completed an undergraduate, postgraduate, or research degree, I hope that you will look back with fondness on your years with us at Birmingham. We are proud of your achievements, and you should be proud of them too. So give yourselves a round of applause. Graduations are a defining moment in the university's calendar, and your graduation will be a defining moment in your lives. It's a moment that we as a university could not let pass without the celebration and recognition that it deserves. We celebrated your graduation in online ceremonies in the summer of 2020, but we always remained committed to bringing you back to our wonderful campus for a true Birmingham graduation experience. We're actually one of only a very few universities that are holding any kind of graduation ceremony in person for their 2020 cohort. The events and activities that we're hosting today demonstrate the value that we place on you and your achievements. We hope that you will enjoy this opportunity to be reunited with each other, to share your success with friends and family, to put on your robes, suit or posh frock, or whatever you decided to wear today, and to recognise and reflect on your achievements during your degree and since. This may not be an ordinary graduation ceremony, but this has not been an ordinary 18 months. During the pandemic, the university community has stepped up and played its part in the nation's response to the crisis. Our researchers have developed new tests to detect COVID, new medical interventions to help those suffering from it, and have contributed to understanding of the disease itself and its consequences so that we might better deal with it. Many of you also supported members of the community in Selly Oak and in your own communities further afield, distributing food and medicine to those most in need, volunteering in hospitals, and helping neighbours. The student response to the pandemic that began in 2020 has continued this year, and we remain in awe of the way in which you, our students and graduates, have continued to support your communities and each other. Now, this degree celebration in the Green Heart, or these degree celebrations of the Green Heart this year are a first for us. But this is a university of firsts. This was the first campus university in the UK, the first to incorporate a medical school and to offer degrees in commerce and social work, the first to allow women to take medical degrees and to create a women's hall of residence. More recently, we were the first university to open a comprehensive secondary school and the first to establish a Pillar 2 testing laboratory for COVID-19. Perhaps today represents a first for you. Let me particularly congratulate those of you who, like me, were the first in your families to graduate. Others of you may have been the first in your family to study in this country, or maybe the first to achieve a postgraduate qualification. Certainly you were all among the first to graduate through a global pandemic. and to take your next steps into employment or further study as that pandemic continued to afflict the world. You have each overcome challenges that few others have faced before, and you will be all the stronger for it. I also want to celebrate the fact that most of you are graduates in the humanities and social sciences, having studied in Cal, COS, or LANS. Some people would have you believe that a humanities or social science degree is somehow less valuable than a degree in one of the STEM subjects, a lifestyle choice rather than a route to a proper job. Now, this might not be the best recommendation, but most of the current cabinet studied for a social science or humanities degree. Boris Johnson studied classics, Michael Gove studied English literature. Who knows, in this marquee, you may be standing next to the future Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, or indeed Prime Minister. More seriously, you have learned the most important skills of all, the ability to think, to make a case, to weigh up evidence, and boy does the world need that now. We may be in the throes of the fourth industrial revolution, but it will be the ability to humanize technology, to put it to use for the good of society rather than a privileged elite, to make the right political and ethical choices. These are the things that will mark whether we advance and progress in the coming decades or not. So, continue to think, be creative, be imaginative, even argumentative. Don't accept the status quo if you can imagine something better. Live in a rich and wonderful world, not one that is just automated and efficient. So for most of you, last summer will have marked the end of one kind of relationship with the university and the start of a new one. You have now spent more than a year as a member of a distinguished family, a family with over 300,000 members in more than 170 countries around the world, the alumni of the University of Birmingham. Hopefully, you've already engaged with our alumni relations team. Perhaps you've already been back to campus to support the next generation of students. If you haven't yet, please do. And wherever life takes you, please stay in touch and tell us what you're doing. You and our graduates and those who are with you have many reasons to be proud today. We share in that pride, and in that spirit of pride and of accomplishment, I will now hand over to our student speaker, Danielle Morinas, to continue this celebration event. Thank you.
Hello, class of 2020. I want to just take you back to January of last year when coronavirus was first on the news. I remember being in my living room drinking a Corona beer, weirdly enough, and saying, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine, it'll all be over soon. Well, it's safe to say that I was wrong. In March, the nation shut down. We had to submit dissertations and final examinations in unprecedented times. Goodbyes were abrupt and unexpected, and it was not the end that we envisioned, nor the one that we deserved. We have been called the pandemic cohort, students who kept going against all odds. And while that may be true, we cannot let that outweigh all the hard work, stress, and let's face it, quite a few tears that have spanned the entirety of our degrees. University is hard. It challenges us, inspires us, and tests us. I'm pretty sure that every one of us here today has uttered the words, that's it, I'm dropping out, at least once over the years. Perhaps it was over an essay we couldn't quite figure out, the 9 a.m. seminar reading we just couldn't quite finish, or the realization that we didn't actually have that much time to write a dissertation. There would have been times in which we doubted ourselves and our ability and felt like we didn't quite belong. And some of us may have had our own personal struggles. I myself have struggled with mental health over the years, and some of you here may have shared in my experience. But whatever trials we have faced, we have got through them. In spite of everything that's been thrown at us, we are standing here today as official graduates of the University of Birmingham. We have thrived and we have flourished over our time here. And it's because of who we are. And it's a testament to all the hard work that we have done from the minute we stepped foot into our first lecture. So yes, we may be the pandemic cohort, but we are not hardworking and resilient individuals because we graduate in a pandemic. We graduating in a pandemic because we are hardworking and resilient individuals. Our time at university has given us so many memories. Both our struggles and our triumphs have made us who we are. We may have regrets on what we didn't do and explore, the society we didn't join, the travelling plans we didn't get around to making, or the party we didn't go to. And it's okay that we didn't do everything, because think about what we did do. Buying 8 £1 Domino's pizzas and feeding ourselves for the week at Welcome Fair, trying to get a prime viewing spot at Vale Fireworks, traipsing back to Selly after Fab with our favourite takeaway, which is Roosters. And even some of those 7 a.m. library trips we may look back to with fondness. I, like many of you, have made lifelong friends here, and it was my privilege and my honour to graduate with them last week. We may have moved on in the world over the past year, but our time at Birmingham has prepared us for all of these challenges, the ones that we have faced and the ones that we continue to face. I'm sure I speak for everyone here in thanking the friends, family, and staff that have supported us throughout our journey. I'd also just like to take a moment to say a personal thank you to any other history graduates out there who have inspired and amazed me during my time here. So to my fellow graduates, congratulations, good luck, and most of all, thank you.
Danielle, thank you for those perfectly chosen words. There are a lot of people here in this marquee, and I'm not going to keep you for too long, given the heat of the day. We've congratulated all of our graduates on their achievements, but there are other people here in the marquee. There are family, there are friends. They are the people who have supported you. They're the people who have struggled with you. They're the people who are delighted by your success. So, whether you're a graduate, whether you're a member of the family, whether you're a friend, can you just reflect on what's been and give each other one last round of applause? Now, as you've heard both from Danielle and from Professor Black, we've lived through unprecedented times. We've lived through times of global crises. We've lived through unimaginable and unfathomable events. There is one I know that's deeply on all of your minds. What's happened to the hands on Old Joe? And for those who don't know what Old Joe is the clock tower at the heart of our campus. This is a global crisis. I can assure you it's a global crisis because on a weekly basis I get an email or a text from Somerset saying, "Where are the hands of Old Joe?" That text does come from one of my grandsons who has become obsessed by the hands of Old Joe. But I can assure you that the hands of Old Joe are in good hands. They're in Derby. And as befits, this icon of the university, the clock stopped more or less at the time of the global pandemic. The mechanism of that clock is over 100 years old, and it's being refurbished along with the hands of the clock. And we hope that it will all be restored by the end of this month. And as the world looks forward, hopefully, Joe will again be telling the time. When we decided that we were going to put on these graduate celebrations for the class of 2020, we wondered how many people would choose to come back. In the end, over 6,000 of you chose to come back to join these graduate celebrations. We had to put on more events. Why is that? Why did so many of the class of 2020 choose to come back to Birmingham? I think there are 3 reasons. The first is that you wanted to be together with those friends that you have made and Danielle spoke of. I see lots of Birmingham alumni around the world, and many of them tell me that the best, the closest, and the most enduring friendships they made during their time here. And what was true for them, I'm sure, will be true for a great many of you here in the marquee this afternoon. Those friendships that you made over the 3, 4, 5 years that you were here will be friendships which matter to you, which continue to reward you, which sustain you, whatever you go on to in later life. So today is a day to be back at Birmingham with friends to celebrate together. The second reason I think you came back is that you knew it would be a great day. What we do at Birmingham, we do well. And no university in this country has anything like this setting, this green heart at the heart of our wonderful campus. So do enjoy the day, enjoy being back on campus. And the third reason I think you came back is that Birmingham, this university, means something to you. We have given something to you. You have given something to this university. You are all part of a crucially important chapter in the life of this university. And wherever you go and wherever life takes you, Birmingham will, I believe, remain not only a part of your life, but your calling card. You are graduates of the University of Birmingham, and wherever you go in the world, this is a university whose reputation stands high. You elevate our reputation. We elevate you. So what next? Well, many of you have taken the next step in your lives. You've moved into your careers. Others of you have moved into further study. You are embarked on that exciting next chapter of your lives. You do so in challenging times. You do so in times that challenge us all. And therefore, as you look forward, I want to suggest that you should focus on two things. The first, you should focus on yourself. You should focus on being the best of yourself. What brought you to Birmingham was an ambition to test yourself, an ambition to stretch yourself, an ambition to immerse yourself in an academic program, an ambition to make the most of being a student at one of the country's great universities. That ambition that brought you to Birmingham, I fervently believe, has been enhanced by your time at Birmingham. Your belief in yourself, your belief that you can achieve, the belief that you can go on and become still better. It's not selfish to want to be the best of yourself, a person who is animated by ability, who is sustained by values. It's not selfish, it's important. But alongside being the best of yourselves, I want to invite you to contribute the best of yourselves to the world around you. We together have a world we need to remake. We have societies which have been fractured by a whole series of events, not least by the pandemic. We have an economy which has been dislocated. We have a world which is far from at ease with itself. We all have a part to play in building the future and in building a better future, but you, the next generation, have a crucially important part to play in that. You are extraordinarily well equipped to do that because, as Professor Black was saying, you have immersed yourselves in disciplines which enable you to understand the world around you, disciplines which enable you to understand people, to understand society, to understand culture. And that understanding is a basis on which we can build, a basis from which we can build. So whatever your careers, please remember what Birmingham gave you as well as what you gave Birmingham. But please remember that responsibility to build and to build for the future. So as you embark on that next chapter, as you go out and celebrate all you've achieved, please remember this university. Please keep in touch with us as a university. Please remember to be the best of yourselves and to give of the best of yourselves. And please also remember that motto of our university that has animated this university since our founding in 1900, per ardua ad alta, through labours, through hard work, to high things. Your labours, your hard work has brought you high things, those degrees which we are all celebrating today. Those same labours and that same ambition will take you to still greater things in the future. And as you scale those heights, you scale them with our best wishes, with our admiration, and with our hopes resting on you. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the day. And now I declare this graduate celebration closed.